welcome to Marisa's Easy Christmas Kitchen. I have Carlo Gambale here, grocery manager from Nardini's Specialty in Stony Creek. We're going to go on to another wonderful dessert using Pandoro. Whether it's fresh out of the box or maybe it's left over from Christmas, we're going to transform it into Zuccoto. So for this Zuccoto is like a dome. Actually, it's more of a pumpkin shape, right? Because that's where the Zuccoto, the zucca, comes from. So find a bowl that fits on whatever serving platter, right? I've made this where I've made it too big and then it's like, I don't even have a platter. So this one here fits perfectly. So it's going to be a dome-shaped dessert. Right. So how about you get started with the Pandoro? And you're going to cut, I'm going to say maybe 5. Let's try 5. Maybe about this thick. Alrighty. And we're going to use that for the liner of the Zuccoto. So I've got the plastic wrap and I've got a piece here that's big enough so it overhangs on the sides. And this is going to make it so much easier to take it out of the bowl. I don't know if you bake, Carlo, but sometimes you bake a cake and then it doesn't come out of the bowl or out of the pan.
I do more
right?
the eating of the desserts.
That's just as important, right? But with the plastic wrap, it certainly does come out. Okay, so we're going to take the smaller end, okay, and we're going to put it right down on the bottom. The bigger end is actually going to go on the top, okay? So you could use this, or if your bowl is very wide, then just go to the widest part of the Pandoro and cut off the slice there, okay? So I'm going to ask, oh, that smells so good.
Very good.
So I'm going to ask that you line this, and you may have to cut it in half. Again, it doesn't really matter because it all gets covered up with chocolate ganache.
All right.
Okay, so it's going to be delicious. So you go ahead and do that. And I know we have some ricotta here. So you have a couple of different kinds of ricotta at your store.
Oh, we have a lot of different varieties. They're local or imported. One is rolled and one is a big, almost like a large tort. And then we also have the Zuccoto in containers, so it's ready just to take home like that.
And I think the Pandoro comes with icing sugar, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so let's maybe put a little bit in here. So, you decide how sweet you like it, right? So, yeah, maybe a little bit more. I think that's enough. So that's maybe 3 tablespoons of icing sugar. And I'm just going to add a little bit of whipping cream. If you think that whipping cream is a little bit too heavy, you could just add regular cream. I don't think I would add milk to it just because it makes it a little bit too watery. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, you did a very nice job. Have you done this before?
No.
No, eh?
Quick learner.
Okay, you're hired. So you did an excellent job. Wherever there's a gap, I think you got them all actually, but just in case the viewers can't see, wherever there might be a little gap, just put a little piece in. So to that ricotta, I'm going to add a little bit of orange zest. I just think orange and chocolate goes so well together. And you have the extra special job of adding some liqueur to the Pandoro. Okay. Well, you just jumped right in.
Sure.
Okay, so what I do is that your hands are clean, right? But so you can just put your finger. Your mom used to do it. That's how my mom would do it, right? So you're just going to drizzle it all around. Yep. And again, you decide how much of that liqueur you'd like. So that's triple sec. The Cointreau would be lovely too. If you decide not to use orange and maybe you want lemon, then maybe you could use some limoncello on that. Yeah. Or if you like the amaretto, we're going to set this aside. Maybe you put that over there.
This one here?
You can. I never thought of that. Right. Well, why not? Sure. Right? Why leave that one out of the party? And we have some beautiful chocolate here that we're going to chop and add to the ricotta filling. So if you like bittersweet chocolate, then certainly you can use that. I do like the bittersweet. This is 51% from Perugina.
Yes.
Maybe you can add that to the ricotta and then just give that a quick fold. And in the meantime, we're going to do a ganache. So if you've never made ganache, it's probably one of the easiest glazes, frosting, dipping sauce, you name it, it can be that for you, okay? So for this, I'm going to use equal portions of whipping cream. So I'm going to just eyeball it. I'm going to use maybe about half a cup of whipping cream. And I'm going to set that on the stove to a little simmer. Okay, so as soon as the bubbles start forming around it, then I take it off the stove. So I heated up the cream, and as soon as little bubbles came around the edges, then I know it's ready. So you don't really want to boil it. So I'm going to ask that you put the chocolate in there. And in the meantime, I'm going to just tidy up a little bit. So the wonderful thing about ganache is you heat up the cream, put the chocolate in, and then just forget about it. It's like incredibly easy. The cream will melt the chocolate, and that forms whatever you need, the glaze, filling, frosting, so on. For our zuccoto, it's going to be the glaze that goes on top.
Nice.
Yeah, so there it is. Just going to give it a little swirl. Now I'm just going to set it aside and let it do its stuff. So the chocolate's been sitting for a few minutes. We're just going to take a look at it. So the chocolate is already melting, and we're just going to give this a quick stir and watch what happens. Look at that.
It's already changing.
Yep, there it is. A little more. It's done.
There you go, that is fast.
So this is, you know, if you had a bowl of strawberries and you want to dip a few strawberries in here. So we're going to, you know, jazz it up just a little bit. So we want it to stay a nice soft consistency. So we're going to add a little bit of corn syrup. So that's right there. Thank you. And I'm going to ask you to add, you know what I say to my kids? A glug. Do you know?
Okay, yeah,
okay?
yeah, I get an idea.
So a glug of the Cointreau in there. That would be great. See, you have done this before. And so we have the orange liqueur, and we're going to add just a little bit of butter. So you can stir that. The butter's going to melt. It's going to be great. Okay, so back to our Cointreau. No, we have triple sec. Our triple sec. Wow, it's nice and wet with triple sec. This is very good. This is going to be an awesome dessert. Okay, we're going to add our ricotta in there. So ideally, you would want to make this and then refrigerate, right? Because that way the ricotta can firm up a little bit with the icing, sugar, and the whipped cream. And, you know, it depends on how big your bowl is. How much ricotta do you need? How much whipping cream you need? So let's put the top on it. And close her up. Yeah, nice. So we're going to just press it in a little bit. And so you notice some of the gaps in there?
Yeah.
So if we have a little bit left over, just, you know, to break off a little bit and just fill in the gaps. No one's going to know. Yes, and now because we have that plastic wrap, we're going to cover it up. I remember what I said, it's best to refrigerate this at least, you know, I would say 4 hours or do it overnight, right? And then that way your dessert is going to be ready for the next day. The Zuccoto has been in the refrigerator for a few hours. The Ganache thickened nicely on its own. If you need the Ganache to thicken up really fast, then just put it in a nice bath. So this is really the consistency that you want. It's very nice and thick. And if you put it in the fridge, then it thickens up really well, and you could make truffles.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you could scoop that up and make some truffles, roll them in some cocoa.
That's
and
another episode.
Another episode, exactly. Get our nice platter. And if I knew that the Zuccoto were nice and firm, I could put it on a rack over a cookie sheet, or you could just use some parchment paper because we're going to pour that glaze all over it. Okay, so we're going to unwrap it, turn it upside down. Got that? Make sure it's centered. Moment of truth, right?
Yeah.
There it is.
Wonderful.
There.
Wow.
You know, you could really just serve it like this if you wanted to. You can maybe sprinkle some icing sugar or even cocoa on it, okay?
Lots of options. Right?
Lots of options. But no, we're going to just take it over the top,
All
right?
Why not?
So we're going to pour this on top, and I think we have a spatula handy somewhere. If you don't mind, I can use that. Oh, look
Wow,
at that.
that's decadent.
And because we use bittersweet chocolate, the ganache isn't overly sweet, okay? And now we have this one, and so we're going to just spread it around. And we're going to use the ganache to fill in any of those other gaps that, you know, maybe we missed, okay? And I don't mind if some of the panettone shows through underneath. You know, I think it's actually very nice to be able to see what's underneath that. But I think you get the idea, right? You cover this all up with the ganache. And it's really just a very thin coating because the dessert in itself is already pretty rich.
So you could almost use any of the panettone or Pandoro options.
Absolutely, yeah. You could use, now this one is the Pandoro, but even the Classico with a little bit of the raisins. And because it has the candied oranges in there, I think that would be just lovely. Okay, so then very carefully we're going to remove the parchment paper that protected the platter. We'll just take some raspberries and we'll just go all the way around. Look at this beautiful Zuccoto. It's been refrigerated for a few hours so that Ricotta was able to firm up. The ganache has set. You certainly could make a little bit more ganache and have a really nice thick coating, but really the panettone is the star of the show. But just sprinkle a little bit of icing sugar on it first, right? So this is the little packet that comes in.
It comes with the Pandoro, yes.
So I'm just gonna see, now what's this about the snow-capped mountains?
Well, since the Pandoro means golden bread, and it's also made to be like the shape of the mountains in the Verona region, Veneto region, and the snow, it's similarly in the snowflakes that you get on the mountaintops.
Oh. See, and we still have snow-capped hills.
Yes.
How about hills here?
Hills, sure.
And I love these little chopped nuts, so I'm gonna maybe sprinkle that on
That
top.
really dresses it up for sure.
Yeah. So we're going to cut in and see what we have here. It's so soft as you cut in. Did you have fun making this?
That's an amazing creation from the Pandoro.
And it comes
Great
together
opportunity.
so
It was
fast.
so much fun, thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out our other videos for the wonderful panettone recipe. So see you next time. Thanks for joining us.